All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about something absolutely fundamental and, honestly, pretty dangerous when it comes to power. We're tackling Robert Greene's very first law: never outshine the master. So, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in that spot where you just crush a project? I mean, you bring your absolute A game, you go above and beyond, and somehow you end up on your boss's bad side? It makes no sense, right? It feels totally backwards, but believe me, there's a very real, very powerful reason this happens.
And here's the crazy answer, right from Robert Greene himself. He says, always make those above you feel comfortably superior. See, that amazing work you did, that desire to impress, it can actually, completely by accident, make your boss feel insecure, even afraid. And there is no better story to show just how catastrophic it can be to get this wrong.
Okay, so let's jump in our time machine. We're headed back to 17th century France. Picture this: incredible, lavish courts, but also lethal ambition. And we're about to meet a man whose own brilliance was the very thing that destroyed him. So here's our guy, Nicolas Fouquet. He's rich, he's brilliant, and he's this close to becoming the prime minister, the most powerful man in the kingdom besides the king himself. And to seal the deal, to celebrate the king and lock in his own future, he thinks, I know, I'll throw a party. But oh man, this was not just any party. And just look at how fast this all falls apart. It's stunning. So first you've got his ambition, right? He throws the party of the absolute century, all to impress King Louis XIV. The problem? The party is, well, it's too good. It's more magnificent than anything the king himself has ever thrown. And you can just imagine the king walking around, hearing everyone whisper about how amazing his minister's palace is, how incredible his taste is. It was a total humiliation. And the fallout? It was immediate. The very next day, Fouquet is arrested and thrown in prison for life. His greatest celebration became his ultimate downfall.
So what went wrong? This is the absolute key right here. It's the massive gap between what Fouquet intended and how the king perceived it. Fouquet was thinking, I'm showing my king how loyal and valuable I am. I'm the perfect choice for prime minister. But that's not what the king saw. Nope. The king looked at him and saw a guy with a better house, more money, and who was frankly more popular. He didn't see a subject, he saw a rival. And the price for that one fatal miscalculation? 20. Just let that sink in. 20 years in solitary confinement, all because he threw a party that was just too good.
Wow. I mean, that's a brutal, brutal story. So it begs the question, what does getting it right look like? Well, to answer that, let's look at a true master of this game, someone who understood this law down to his bones. Okay, now we're with Galileo Galilei. It's 1610. He has just made an absolutely world-changing discovery with his new telescope. But here's the thing about groundbreaking science. It costs money, a lot of it. And to get that funding, he needs a wealthy patron. And in Renaissance Italy, there was no family more powerful, more wealthy than the Medici. Now, Galileo could have just run out and shouted, "Look how brilliant I am, look what I found." But he didn't. He did something absolutely genius. So he discovers 4 moons orbiting Jupiter. But instead of just announcing it, he frames the whole thing as a tribute to the Medici. He calls them the Medicean stars. And then, this is the brilliant part, he says the 4 moons represent the 4 Medici suns, orbiting their powerful father, who is, of course, the planet Jupiter. He literally made his patrons the center of a brand new cosmos. And the result? Bam. Instant success. He got a full salary and the title of official court philosopher and mathematician. Game, set, match. And when you put these two side by side, it's just so clear, isn't it? Fouquet showed off his own brilliance and got 20 years in prison. Galileo used his brilliance to make his master look more brilliant, and he got a lifetime salary and fame. The outcomes could not be more night and day. So this really gets to the heart of the matter. Power is not just about who's the most talented or competent. It's really about navigating this whole hidden world of egos and insecurities. Yeah, being good at your job is important, for sure, but being able to manage the ego of the person above you, that is everything. Okay, so we've got the history, we've got the big idea, but how does this actually work in real life? In your job, with your team, today. Let's break it down. It's time to open up the toolkit. The name of the game here is subtlety. It's all about understanding a little bit of human psychology.
So for example, next time you have a killer idea, don't just walk in and announce it. Try saying something like, based on that great advice you gave me last week, I came up with this. It's not just sucking up. It actually makes them feel like a co-owner of your success. Or, hey, ask for their help on something, even if you could probably figure it out yourself. It makes them feel needed, like the expert. And here's a really sneaky one. Sometimes the smartest play is to hide a few of your talents. Act a little naive. Let them teach you something you already know. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it makes them feel wise.
If you remember one thing, remember this metaphor. Think of your master, your boss, your client, whoever, as the sun. They are the center of the solar system. Your job is not to be a second, brighter sun. No way. Your job is to be a planet, orbiting them, reflecting their light, and making them look even brighter. You shine because of them. Okay, but here's where it gets a little more complex. Like any rule about power, you can't just follow it blindly all the time. There are exceptions. So the big question is, when is it actually okay to break this law and shine on your own?
Well, there are really two main situations. First, if your boss is already weak, maybe they're on their way out, their star is fading, well, then outshining them can actually speed things up and position you to take their place. And the second scenario? You have a genuinely secure, super confident boss who actually loves seeing their people shine. The thing is, that's incredibly rare, and it is a very dangerous assumption to make.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important takeaway of all. As a rule of thumb, just never assume your master is secure. Seriously, even the most confident person on earth has an ego, and it can be triggered in a split second by something you didn't even mean to do. When in doubt, it is always, always better to play it safe. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. In your own world, at work, in your social circle, wherever, who's the master? And more importantly, are you reflecting their light? Or are you accidentally casting a shadow that they just can't ignore? Because how you answer that, that could be the difference between your success and your failure.